Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. I'm glad to be back. I want to thank Stan and Ken for taking over the show yesterday. We were on the road. We got a lot of things done, and we got some really good stuff to share with y'all. But let's go ahead and move on today. I got a good show lined up today, but let's do our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. High of 81, low of actually going all the way down to 61 degrees. I have between 59 and 61, so inland it'll be in the 50s, on the coast it'll be 61. Water temperature, I take a double look at that, 78 degrees. When I was on the show last week, it was 82. It's dropped 4 degrees over this weekend, so it's really gone down. Tide, river readings. Apalachicola, Bluntstown, still at a 0.8. I rode over it yesterday, and it's just really low, folks. I also rode over the Ocklawaha River and took a look at it, and it's low over there toward Tallahassee. Choctaw, Caryville, 2.1, and it's low. All the rivers low. We need some rain. It's dry. I know the yards are dry. They look out in the woods, everything's just dry. So we need some rain. We don't need necessarily a big old hurricane or something, but a little bit of tropical rain will be good for everybody and everything. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. And it's looking good. High tide this morning at 6 o'clock, 5:59. A low tide this evening at a 3:47. So you got a good outgoing tide all morning. And what's been fascinating all last week and on through the weekend, and the wind been coming east, northeast, and it's still doing that this morning. But on these low tides, it's been, like I said before all this happened, it's going to be lower than normal with that just constantly east, northeast wind. So in the bay system, we had some really low tides, and I was checking mine out yesterday, and with that wind, it was really lower than normal. Okay, the moon phase, I went over there yesterday. Marine forecast again will be the east-northeast wind about 5 to 10. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Got a lot of pictures to show you, but first let's go to this video. This is video from our trip we took out to Louisiana and Venice, and we had a large group of people come down, and we had a situation where it was really fascinating just getting to meet people. I love going on these outdoor excursions, fishing and hunting and different things, and meeting fellow outdoorsmen from across the country. It's just, have so much in common, and we're just instant friends, it seemed like. And same way on this trip. And we had Bill Brown had like 15 of his top salesmen, producers that represented his company, and they were all over. And we had one lady there, and of course she fit right in because you could tell she was an outdoor girl and loved the outdoors. And as I got to talk to her and get to know her, I got her history, and I always ask people a little bit about themselves and all this. That in itself is entertaining and informative. I get to know them better. And she's from an area up there in Wisconsin and I talked about a business, and I said, well, how long y'all been in business? She said she's the 5th generation. I said, oh my goodness, and it just fascinated me that a company can still do the same business or same kind of family business and change with the times for 5 generations and keep it in the company. You stop and think how many people you know that does that. Usually the 2nd or 3rd generation, that generation is going to sell out, take the money and run. But this particular family has done it for 5 generations. I said, we got to do an interview. You just tell the folks the story because that's just a fascinating story to share as a fellow outdoorsman and as part of our American heritage. So let's roll this video, Jeff. Okay, folks, on every show we have on Panhandle Outdoors, we always talk about human interest, talk about something unique our outdoor people just love. And today we're going to meet a young lady that's on our trip over here in Venice, Louisiana. I met her yesterday. I'm just fascinated in her family history. So we're going to sit down and meet her. Welcome to the show. And let me get this straight now. Ann Reinders.
Exactly right.
Okay, I got it right.
You nailed it.
Okay, I met Ann last night. She came in with so many people that have got to fish today, but she told me her story, and I'm fascinated with. Tell us where you're from.
Wisconsin, the Milwaukee area.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay, that sort of, but a little town outside of Milwaukee.
Originally, Elm Grove is where we have been established for most of the time, and we just moved out to Sussex just in the last 5 years.
Okay, now, what you told me last night, it just floored us. Your family has been in this business for how many generations?
I'm in the 5th generation.
You're the 5th generation of a family business.
Yeah, we go back to 1866.
1866, your family started a business.
Correct.
That's incredible. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I usually, start out by saying it started out as a Little House on the Prairie, the general store, and it just kind of evolved over generations from that. It started in Milwaukee and moved out to the suburbs as the trains developed and the agriculture moved out to the west of the Milwaukee area. And generation after generation, it just kind of evolved in different realms. And it came from a general store to a grocery store and hardware store, and broke off from that and went into the garden center. So my direct lineage went back to, my father was involved in the retail garden center, garden nature store kind of a development, and my uncle was also involved, and he got more in the engineering side of things. So we got out of retail at one point and moved more into just wholesale distribution. So as the community in the western suburb area developed, we decided to focus more on the commercial side of things and get into wholesale, whether it's contractors, golf courses, municipalities, those areas of business. And we do irrigation, equipment, grass seed, fertilizer, all sorts of odds and ends and niches as we've gone through.
I can't get over this, folks. We'll talk about small family businesses in America. And that's our sponsors on our show, is small family businesses. And here's one been through 5 generations. Started as basically a general store.
Correct. Yeah.
And then but what you've been able to do is evolve and change with the times.
Absolutely. I mean, my grandfather was strong into bird seed. We had our own manufacturing of bird seed and pigeon feed.
Yeah.
Saw the pigeons back in the day where people actually raced them and did all those other fun things.
Yeah.
Big supplier at that time for that.
That's cool. You've sort of adapted to the changes.
Absolutely.
But the biggest thing, you look across the landscape of America and small businesses, and usually that 3rd generation is the one. First generation builds it, works so hard. The 2nd generation sort of lives off it, and that 3rd generation sort of runs it in the ground.
Right.
How did y'all do that? How did y'all be successful?
I think part of it is just they kept it really tight and focused. I mean, they took off parts of the business as it grew and evolved. They, like my grandfather, was with his brother, and his brother took over the grocery side of it. And so they kind of split that and went 2 different directions with it. And then my father and uncle were involved, and they had 2 sisters that were not involved, and that was probably driven by my grandfather. And so they just kind of kept pruning the tree, as we called it. So the last ownership was my father and uncle, and then it grew into my generation of the 5th generation, and there's 5 of us active in the business. And luckily we've branched out far enough that there's enough for all of us to do and keep our interests going and not on top of each other.
That's cool. Well, you're the only girl on the trip down here, so we've all enjoyed having it. Now, does your families and all of y'all enjoy the outdoors? Do y'all do a lot of outdoors?
My father always big outdoorsman, and so that's where I always connected with him, and that's kind of how I got into the business, is because I just liked that bond and liked the activity and those kinds of things. So, it was a proud factor for me to be continue that generation. And
well, this is just awesome. I just admire. We just met, and we've got a good group of people down here, right?
Excellent group. Very, very good. Welcoming, and just, the Brown Company, and just, Brown Products, just very welcoming.
Yeah. Had a fish fry last night, now we're about to go out and eat some ribs and been fishing all day. Good trip.
Yeah, very good trip.
Well, listen, thank you so much for this interview, and the best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. Excuse my camera work. I had my cameraman. That was a fishing trip. I was going fishing and all, but what a fascinating lady, fascinating family and all. And I just wanted to share that with you. I felt outdoorsman to see something like that. Now let's move into some pictures. Also, I got an announcement from Bill Kramer Chevrolet. This is some big news coming up for outdoorsmen now. I'm going to just give you the basic details. I'm going to have Tommy Barnes and Daniel Raphael come on and tell you more about it. But basically what they're going to do, they're going to give away a tree stand. Okay, I've got a picture here, I think. If you come by and test drive. Here it is right here. I'm just going to show you. Here's the tree stand. If you go by and test drive the nice 2017 trucks right here. See that tree stand? They're going to give one a week away, okay? One of these away. They're going to give away one a week in that tree stand now, not the truck. I'm going to ask them if I can just climb the tree stand and try to win the truck. But that's a good deal. And we're going to draw for it on Panhandle Outdoors right here each week for, I don't know how many weeks going to do it, but that is a nice tree stand. All you got to do is go by and test drive it and put your name in a little basket, and I'll go by and get it, and we'll draw the name out of there, okay? So that's a good deal. We'll know more about it. Just getting word on it, okay? I got a whole roll of pictures, so let's get rolling on them. Okay, Tom Gurley took this, and the term is sit or spell, and so many of you historically can relate to this. The old chairs in the front. This is before, really before electricity. Honestly, a lot of these houses were out in the woods and all. And my grandparents had a house like this before electricity, and that was the entertainment, sitting on the front porch. Look at Bill Buchanan here, bass fishing on the Choctawhatchee River. What a pretty bass, and what a pretty place to fish. Bill Buchanan. Rufus Earl Newton. He did his hunting dues and went out and caught that nice redfish right there. Good job. How about Luke Bossler? This past weekend, the redfish were biting. Here's Luke Bossler here. That's a perfect size redfish, a good healthy redfish. Kenny Livingston. Look at all the spots on this one. I count about 12 spots on that one side. He could win a tournament with that. Chris Rushing. Well, I tell you, a lot of redfish are out. Okay. Well, look how much fun he had. Look at the color. Okay, that chartreuse tail, a white body. All right. Bubba Kelly. Bubba went through his cast net, 63 pounds on 2 throws. Check that out. Good job, Bubba Kelly. Bubba Lee, a little action on. Now look, I want you to see the location he caught that. Look in the background. That's Captain Anderson to his left or our right. Okay, that's the party boats right there. He caught it off the dock out there, Grand Lagoon. That's behind him is Thomas Drive, the little bridge and all, so you can see where he caught it off the dock there. If you got room to go, and a lot of times there's plenty of room out there to go fish. Bubba Lee, this is Jeremy Scott Jernigan on a nice healthy pond bass here in Bay County. Bass were biting this weekend. Kenny Livingston, look at that nice trout right there. Good trout. Good job, Kenny. Jordan Humphrey. Okay, 2 black drum off the Lynn Haven Bridge. One's 34 pounds, one's 33 pounds. That's not the same fish. Now, it's 2 different black drum off the Bailey Bridge there in Lynn Haven over the weekend. All right. Luke Bossler and Tyler McKay went out. Look, they caught this shark out of that canoe there, right here in St. Andrew Bay. That's a healthy little shark to catch in a canoe. And they caught it and released it. Okay, Clay Patrick and Tyler Patrick. Nice dove shooting. I hadn't heard a lot about dove shooting this past weekend. I did get this good picture here. And let's see, I've got okay, now I want to read this one so you don't necessarily have to look at it. But this is from Darren Parker. This is a classic picture here. Hey, Coach, here are a few pictures from a recent fishing trip. I caught a nice string of mullet a few days ago, and we've been catching some nice fish offshore. We got Ronnie Groom out with us this past weekend and caught a limiter grouper, mostly scamp. It was great to have Ronnie and Bradley Pitts out on the boat together. You know, these 2 guys, those 2 guys and a few of their friends pioneered spearfishing in our area. We talked about that before, and they did. Those guys have forgotten more about fishing, spearfishing, and diving than a lot of us will ever know. Darren Parker. So look at this picture here. Okay? That's Bradley Pitts and Ronnie Groom. That's a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience on that boat there. So glad to see those guys. You know, we're talking a lot of times about taking kids fishing. You can take some older people fishing too. They appreciate it. A lot of them don't have the big boats now. So good job, Darren Parker. Appreciate that. Here's our ice chest. They have some nice scamp right there. Okay, and that is a full box. Okay, here's Darren here. That is a nice grouper there. Good job, Darren. Okay, I want to show you this picture. This is not local. This is Jacksonville Beach Pier, and this is after the storm Matthew came through. I'm going to zoom in. Our pier is built the same, and it's built to hurricane-proof it, and not to guarantee it's not going to be knocked down. But what the big deal is keeping the pilings down. If you'll notice, I'm going to zoom in. it's sort of a knockout pier where it gets knocked out. See, the waves come up underneath and drive the pilings up, but the engineers over the years have perfected these where they'll knock a hole in it and just knock up those sections, and so that way the pressure is not put on the pilings that come up out of the ground. I saw this picture, I wanted to share it with you. If you look back toward the shoreline, everything's still intact there, but out here where it gets pounded, it got hit pretty bad, but that's very, very easy to repair for a construction company to come out there and just put it back together because the pilings are down. So that was good there. I just want to share that with you in case it comes over here and hits our area. That's what's going to happen to ours, okay? And Will Owen, his dad caught a 20-pound red snapper, and with Todd Jones in Panama City. Will Owen from C-Deck Marine. So good job there. All right, that takes care of our pictures. We had a lot of pictures there. Again, I want to thank Stan Kirkland and Ken Pebble for taking the show yesterday. I got a kick out. I watched it on and watched how Stan made those little dove decoys, and that's fascinating how he did them. When I heard he was making them, I thought he was making them like a full body, but he made them flat, and he just stacked them up easy to take. So that's a good idea. So let me know if any of y'all are trying to put together dove decoys, and let me know how it turns out. Okay? I'll take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm always glad you're with us. Today's Tuesday. Now tomorrow we're going to have Alan Courtney coming on. We'll talk about bass fishing, and the next day we'll have Captain Haley Burns. She's with the one of the few female captains around here, so we've got a big week planned. And then on Friday we're going to talk about the big contest they're having at Bill Kramer Chevrolet. Not really a contest, just a free giveaway on some really well-built tree stands. So I got an exciting week. I get, when I go out of town and all, I get excited about coming back here, getting back on the show and communicating with you folks. I really enjoy it. And we want to, let's get our fishing game times right now. 8:35 to 10:35, okay, that's this morning, excellent time. And then this evening from 9:01 to 11:01. And I keep getting all kind of reports and all on different kind of things, but let's cover this poster right here first. Don't forget, coming up November the 5th, the first weekend in November, is the 9th annual Elizabeth Bardolph Memorial Redfish Tournament. It'll be down in St. Andrew with Sunjammers. $35 entrance fee, and it all goes, 100% of that money goes to the Learn to Swim program for kids in this area. What a great situation. We talked about it over and over again where they've turned tragedy into triumph as far as the family. So we certainly support them. Give you as outdoorsmen a chance to go in there and have a good time, catch some redfish, and support a good cause. What a good weekend to do that on. A lot of 3 or 4 things happened that Saturday, so we're going to just try to spread ourselves out, and I'll tell you more of the things later. One of the things is going to be a Cartercraft boat show down at Bay County Historical Society, and I will be speaking there in about two weeks. I'll be speaking down there on our history and heritage of wooden boat building at the Historical Society on a Monday night. They always have the meetings on the 4th Monday, and they've asked me to speak in head of this boat show coming up. They're going to have like 10 or 12 old Cartercraft boats here and on display on that Saturday. So all kinds of things going on as far as outdoors. Don't forget, tonight I will be meeting, these tickets went real fast Friday after the show, and I will be meeting you folks between 5 and 5:30 at Highland Park Baptist. It won't be hard to get lost. Just call me. I'll be somewhere around where they're cooking that wild pig, or somewhere in that area where they're cooking. I always like to hang around the cooks, and so we'll be, or I might be back there toward the line. They cooked them in a different place last year. So anyway, be looking forward to seeing all of y'all there. Okay. Also, I want to mention I was thinking of driving. I had some time to drive this weekend. I think as far as fall is here. We're right in the middle of it. These morning temperatures cold, and it's really time to really get out there. And there's so many things we can do, and it's going to fly by before we know it's going to be Thanksgiving, like in 4 or 5 weeks. It seems like Thanksgiving will be here. So this is an excellent time to get out on the water. I've been getting reports together just in the last couple of days. I've talked to some wade fishermen. They did really, really good wade fishing. They call it a combination of redfish, trout, and Spanish mackerel, and some really big Spanish mackerel. And one of the most natural ways to fish now is if you just catch, I'm mainly an artificial guy, but I like to do this on occasion if I'm really in a hurry, just want to catch a lot of fish. Just throw a little net out there, catch some live bait, and just free line your bait. You can do that wade fishing. You can do that on a boat inshore, and we'll do it offshore. And that's how we did. That's how we caught those tuna a couple of weeks ago. Same principle as far as getting natural bait in the area, getting fish excited about feeding on them. So fishing is excellent. Pier fishing is excellent right now. This some of the best time of the year. These next couple of weeks is to fish. So get out there as soon as you can and make some plans to just get out. Now that's on the water. In the woods, make sure that you got everything all set up, and because some people are already getting out in the woods and doing some serious. You got bow season and everything coming. You got a situation where you really need to be. You should have everything planned by now. If not, go ahead and start looking for trails for your ground blind. I know Stan mentioned, he and Ken mentioned the ground blinds yesterday. Ground blinds are ideal. They're excellent, and I find myself going more and more to them. Although a good rectangle platform stand is good too. So make sure you got your food in situation. Make sure you got everything set up for your hunting. But dove shoots, I haven't got a lot of information on dove shoots this year. You've seen what I've seen on the pictures. There've been some decent shoots in a couple places. One was Washington County, one was Jackson County there, and I haven't heard anything from Gulf County or really in Bay County. So I know they're having good shoots. Also on the river, great time of year is low water. If you can get some areas where where you got a slough coming out into the big river and set up some trot lines or bush hooks, really good time to catch some catfish. Catfish are prevalent this time of year. They've been eating all summer. They're concentrated in areas. So if you get a chance to do that, that's going to be good. Frog gigging is really good this time of year. I was just thinking when I was driving back from our trip, how many things are going on just the month of October here in the Florida Panhandle. So get out and take it. And what I want to just share with you is it's time to get out and do it. Don't just sit around and talk about it. Let's get out and do it. This weekend, next weekend, anytime you get some time off. Okay. I'll start wrapping things up. We've got like I say, a big week, rest of this week, big week planned, and some really good stuff to share with you as fellow outdoorsmen. Hope you enjoyed that video. Again, it was fascinating for 5 generations of one family in a business. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.